They never taught you how money really works. Not in school, not at home, not in the places that were supposed to prepare you for life. You were handed a paycheck, but not a plan. Told to hustle, but not to own. So let me ask you, if you stopped working today, how long would you stay afloat? This video isn't about tips and tricks, it's about truth. Hard truths about money, mindset, and why most people stay broke, even while they're earning. If you're tired of surviving, if you're ready to finally take control, then listen closely. Because after this, you'll never see money the same way again. Part 1, they taught you to be broke. You were taught to get a job, not to build wealth. Taught to budget your salary, not to grow your income. Taught to work hard, but never shown how money works. And now you wonder why you're stuck. You memorized formulas, but never learned what compound interest can steal from your future. You were told to save for a rainy day, but no one explained how inflation would eat your savings alive. You were raised to fear risk, but never taught that playing it safe is the biggest risk of all. You saw your parents pay rent for 30 years and retire with nothing but prayers and pressure. You saw people drive cars they couldn't afford, just to impress strangers they'll never meet. And you thought, this is normal. But normal is broke. Normal is overdraft fees, credit card debt, and thinking financial freedom is for those people. Here's the truth. The system wasn't built to free you. It was built to use you. But the moment you start learning the rules, you stop being a pawn and start playing like a king. Part 2. You don't need more money. You need more skill. Most people think their problem is money, but money isn't the problem. It's the mirror. If you gave the average person $5 million today, they'd be broke again in 2 years. Not because they're cursed, but because they were never taught how to manage abundance. Think about lottery winners, athletes, even artists. They go from rags to riches, then straight back to rags, because money without wisdom is wasted. You say you want more, but have you mastered the little you have? You spend before you plan. You earn, but you don't invest. You work, but don't own anything that works for you. You want financial freedom, but you haven't studied the habits of those who have it. You want passive income, but you've only practiced active spending. Money responds to structure, to discipline, to knowledge. Your income will always match your financial maturity, not your ambition. So stop chasing more. Start mastering what you have. Track every naira. Know where it goes. Decide where it should go before it disappears. Because the truth is, you don't rise by earning more. You rise by handling better. Part 3. Your lifestyle is lying to you. We live in a world where people look rich but stay broke, where success is filtered, financed, and posted online. You see a friend buy a new car and suddenly you feel behind, not knowing it came with a crushing loan, 3 missed payments, and silent anxiety. We compare real lives to highlight reels and we bleed financially trying to keep up. That dinner you couldn't afford, that trip you booked on credit, that outfit worn once for Instagram, all of it, debt disguised as status. And yet we smile through it, telling ourselves we're doing fine. But fine is not freedom, and pressure is not prosperity. You don't need to impress strangers, you need to outgrow the version of you that needs to. Look at the wealthiest people in the room. They're quiet, they're simple, they're focused. Because real wealth doesn't scream, it compounds. So cut the noise, live below your means. Stop buying things to escape how you feel. Start investing in the life you actually want, because pretending to be rich is the fastest way to stay poor. Part 4. Income won't save you. Ownership will. You were taught to chase income, but income is temporary. A paycheck is a lifeline, not a legacy. If your money stops when you stop, then you don't have freedom. You have a contract. Let that sink in. You can work 2 jobs, overtime, late nights, but if you don't own anything, you're just a well-paid passenger. Look around. Renters, not owners. Consumers, not creators. Employees praying for promotions while entrepreneurs hire their bosses. Real wealth doesn't come from how much you earn. It comes from what you own. Assets, equity, intellectual property, land, skills that scale. A woman once sold food from a roadside cart, saved every profit, bought the small shop behind her. 10 years later, she owns 3 buildings and rents them out. She stopped waiting for a raise. She gave herself one through ownership. It starts small, a side hustle, an ebook, a plot of land, a vending machine, a digital product. One thing that pays you even while you sleep. Because the goal is not to work until you die. The goal is to build something that lives after you. Part 5. Saving won't make you rich. Investing might. They told you to save, but saving alone won't save you. That $100 you tuck away every week, inflation is quietly stealing from it. Banks give you peanuts in return while lending out your money for profit. You're playing defense in a game that requires offense. Look, saving has its place for emergencies, short-term needs, discipline. But don't confuse a savings account with a wealth strategy. The rich don't just save, they invest. They put money into things that grow: stocks, real estate, businesses, ideas, digital assets. It doesn't have to be millions. $2,000 in a mutual fund, $5,000 in a small agro project, even $1,000 in an online course that multiplies your earning power. That's how it starts. You don't need to be a genius, just consistent, just curious, just willing to learn how money works instead of working for it your entire life. Because saving keeps you safe, but investing sets you free. And if you're not investing in anything, then the future you're dreaming about is only ever going to exist in your imagination. Part 6. Debt isn't evil, but ignorance is. Debt isn't the enemy. Misused debt is. A student loan that teaches you a skill, that's investment. But a $700,000 phone on credit, that's ego, not progress. The problem isn't owing, it's owing for the wrong things. People borrow for clothes, cars, vacations, but refuse to borrow for education, tools, or opportunity. A man once took a $30,000 loan to buy a designer watch, wanted to feel successful. 6 months later, he couldn't repay the loan and had to sell the watch for half the price. But another man borrowed the same amount to buy sound equipment for a podcast. 3 years later, he's teaching others and earning 7 figures. Same debt, different outcome, because one borrowed to impress, the other borrowed to build. Debt is a tool, but in the wrong hands, even a tool becomes a weapon. Before you borrow, ask yourself, will this cost give me peace or just pressure? Will it generate money or just likes? Because not all debt is bad, but all blind debt is dangerous. You don't have to fear debt, you just need to understand it. Part 7. Your job is a bridge, not a destination. A job can be a blessing. It can pay your bills, feed your family, fund your dreams. But a job is not the dream. It's the bridge to the dream. Too many people build their whole lives on a paycheck and forget that the paycheck was supposed to be temporary. Not because jobs are bad, but because no job was ever designed to make you wealthy. Ask around. People work 30 years, retire with a plaque and pressure, no assets, no freedom, just memories of meetings. A man once said, "I can't leave my job, it's secure." But the company laid him off 6 months later. Security? That was an illusion. Your real security is your skills, your ideas, your ability to adapt, your ownership. So use the job, don't let it use you. Learn everything, save aggressively, invest consistently, build quietly. Let your 9 to 5 fund your 610. Because if you don't create something beyond your job, you'll always be one email away from financial crisis. Jobs can be part of your story, but don't let them write the final chapter. Part 8. Money doesn't change you, it exposes you. People say money changes you, but it doesn't. It amplifies who you already are. If you're careless, it magnifies your waste. If you're wise, it multiplies your wealth. That's why mindset matters more than money itself. You ever seen someone earn more and still stay broke? They got a raise, then upgraded their car, their apartment, their habits. Expenses rose faster than income. Now they're earning twice as much, but drowning twice as fast. Because money without discipline is a disaster. There's a woman who made $6,000 a month. She budgeted, saved, invested small, lived simply. 5 years later, she owns a business and trains others. Her friend made $250,000 monthly and couldn't even explain where it went. Different incomes. Same problem. If you don't master your money at 6Ks, you won't master it at 600K. More money doesn't fix poor habits, it feeds them. So start small, track your spending, kill the impulse buys. Pause before every purchase and ask, is this asset or ego? Because if you won't change your money habits now, money will only make the damage louder. Part 9. Generational wealth starts with you. If no one taught you about money, if your parents never owned land, If your family never invested, then you are the starting line. That's not a curse, it's a calling. You can be the one who breaks the cycle, the one who stops renting forever, the one who teaches your kids what you had to learn at 30. And yes, it's hard. You'll make mistakes, you'll feel overwhelmed, you'll be tempted to give up and just enjoy life. But short-term pleasure is the enemy of long-term peace. You may not inherit wealth, but you can leave it. A simple investment plan, a piece of land, a life insurance policy, a skill you teach your children that helps them earn. These things matter more than the shoes you bought last week. One man built a house brick by brick with his hands and savings. His children now live rent-free, debt-free, all because he chose to sacrifice once so they didn't have to sacrifice forever. Be that person. You don't need a rich background, you just need a strong foundation. Legacy isn't money alone, it's the mindset that builds it. Part 10. Financial freedom isn't a number, it's a choice. You think freedom is some faraway goal, $1 million in the bank, a luxury car, a vacation whenever you want, but freedom starts sooner than you think. It's not just about money, it's about control. Control of your time, your decisions, your future. Freedom is saying no to a toxic job because you have savings. It's choosing peace over pressure because your bills are paid ahead of time. It's waking up without panic, sleeping without fear. There's a man earning modestly, living simply, investing quietly. He owns his time, he chooses his clients, he reads every morning. That's freedom. Then there's another earning millions, but he can't sleep, owes everyone, trapped in a lifestyle he built for applause. That's prison, disguised as wealth. So yes, chase growth, chase increase, but never chase money more than mastery. Because when you manage what you have, money becomes your servant, not your stress. And financial freedom, it doesn't start with income, it starts with intention. So decide, right here, right now. Not to be rich overnight, but to never be broke in mindset again. You've been told money is hard, that it's not for people like you, that wealth is inherited, not created. But now you know better. And once you know better, you owe it to yourself to do better. So the question is, will you stay where it's comfortable, or will you step into what's possible? Will you keep spending to escape, or start building to become? Because this journey isn't just about you, it's about your future kids, your aging parents, your name, and what it will mean years from now. Start where you are, learn, apply, break the cycle. If this message spoke to your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Like the video, share it with someone who needs this. Subscribe for more truth, more tools, and more ways to take back your power. Because someone out there is still lost, still blind to the trap, and you might be the spark that helps them see.